Folks, welcome back to Trainwreck Tonight. We are live here at Studio D. Tonight in studio, we got myself, the General Al. We got DJ Supreme on the tunes. Maniac's back, hair longer than ever. And special guest tonight, we got Kramer, Frank Arcury in the house. Tonight's show sponsor, Scuffed Up.
You already know them with the best product to keep those sneakers clean. Make sure to check out their pages on Instagram, Twitter, and all platforms to see their new product. Throw it in the bag. We all have that smelly bag that we get, whenever we go to the gym or, for my case, the dance studio. Make sure you're keeping that stuff fresh. Check out their page. New product launched with Nate Robinson just these last couple days.
And Maniac, where the hell's Ty B?
Ty B, I think he's actually, this is the thing, he qualified. It was a big regional qualifier over the weekend. He is at the finals of Nick Mandola and FC Buffalo's Bubble Soccer Tournament. So our hearts, minds, and souls are all with Ty B. May the Bubble Soccer be your guide.
I've never heard of Bubble Soccer. I'm going to be honest with you. Have you guys ever heard of Bubble Soccer?
I mean, I've heard of bubble hockey, and Frank can attest. I'm near unbeatable amongst my peers.
He is correct. I've given him a couple good games. I have heard of bubble soccer, actually. There's a hockey rink that actually just closed, sadly, American Indoor Sports Center, which is down in West Seneca, over on Mineral Springs, and they at one point, actually a few years ago, had a bubble soccer. You could go, you could play and pay some money. I don't remember how much it was though.
But they remember about them was a terrible hockey floor.
Well, and what they had, what we're talking about there, that's the bubble soccer that they play at like second intermission of the Sabres games when they're all going nuts in big bubbles, right? Because that's what we thought it was originally, and then we saw it's actually just a version of the bubble hockey.
But it's bubble football.
Now, when I play foosball, I just go crazy on all the knobs and everything. I feel like that's more intimidating than anything. When you see those knobs spinning, it's just like it throws you off. What do you think? What's your technique when you dominate?
Frank, you know how I do it. It's all about those Corsi stats. It's about possession, having the puck, and generating proper shot chances. It's about the high danger. Get that puck to the slot and, get those high danger chances. And you have the puck more. It beats that crazy spin it around all the time strat as long as you've got your goalie on notice.
This is my guy.
Yeah, if you're facing the crazy guy, you always got to have one hand on the goalie because there's always going to be that problem once you get that puck.
He'll just rip it from the
defense. Yeah, next thing you know, your goal is just sitting there on the left post like, hey, man, it went in on that side.
Oh, I hate when my goalie is on the wrong post.
All right, guys, well, let's get into the weekend. So, wild card weekend.
Crazy weekend.
Insane. It was all underdogs. We go into this weekend, divisional weekend, and the favorites were, spread-wise, 3 out of 4, but all 4 home teams got the job done.
Snore.
You weren't happy with this weekend.
Everyone says that divisional weekend is the best weekend in football, and this past weekend could not have been farther from the truth. I mean, what more could it have been personified with of course, the evil empire going ahead, and I'm hearing the Imperial March in my head right now with this whole thing. Thank you. And you see the Patriots just put a beat down right away on the Chargers. They're like, all right, this game's over. I'm going to go take a nap later.
Oh, man, all those sheep just huddling into the factory on Sunday morning. Oh, Chargers money line, Chargers first half. Oh, Chargers minus 10.5. Are you kidding?
Real quick. I know, okay, you could say Public was on the Chargers. Could you say potentially those Sharps were on the Chargers?
Sharps were on the Chargers?
Yeah.
It was a full bloodbath. Yes. Vegas had no mercy on that one.
To be honest, when I texted you and then you texted me back, you said, Vegas needs the Patriots. I was like, what did I just do? What on earth was I thinking? When Vegas needs the Patriots at home in a playoff game? And I don't know why I was... All week, I was like, Patriots, let's go. It's -4, way too low of a spread, easy money. And then Sunday, I woke up, I'm like, I have a feeling, I don't know, Chargers are going to get it done. I feel stupid.
Vegas needing something is like Tony Soprano needing something in New Jersey. One way or another, he's going to get it by the end of the day.
And it was just, domination the entire game. I think they said it was the first time the Patriots scored 3 consecutive touchdowns to open drives ever. They've never done that. And the Chargers just look stupid.
Oh, hey, it's the decline of the Patriots. Teams can actually beat them. And then the next thing you know, like you said, they do something that they haven't done. It's just like, of course, now you guys are just perfectly fine.
I was saying, during that game, there was a point about almost halfway in where they were pacing 60 points and Brady was pacing 550 plus. Like, it's insane that could even happen.
Can they go away? Like, at all.
Someone needs to take out James White. He's like the low-key, like, everything. Brady just throws it to him even when he's covered.
It just...
Yeah, those
So many back-breaking, like, little check downs.
third downs across the middle.
All the quarterbacks, like, we criticize the check down, but it's actually a maneuver when put in, like, a legendary player's hand. It absolutely dominates, of course.
He can't throw the deep ball anymore.
You can't.
And all it is literal 5-10 yard dink and dunks. All day, it's the easiest offense, and no one can still stop it, and no one can get pressure on Brady. You'd think maybe Ingram, Bosa would be able to do something.
Oh, no. They were non-factors.
Did Brady get touched?
The only time they mentioned Ingram and Bosa yesterday was when they were talking about how, wow, we haven't mentioned Ingram or Bosa yet.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was just extremely disappointing.
Because, of course. It's the Patriots.
That's what it is.
It's like, it's of course.
And I told Maniac, I was like, Maniac, I want to be on the opposing side when the dynasty ends.
Of course.
And unfortunately, it's not this year.
You want to be on the Conquerors, but let's talk about the real it factor here. They're obviously won this game. In the post-game press conference, Brady's going off as though, like, everybody didn't believe in the Patriots, and you guys said we can't win a game. This is the 8th straight AFC Championship. Nobody was doubting the Patriots. This is the most garbage narrative that they are trying to work up as inspiration going into Kansas City that I've ever seen. I am shocked and appalled.
But clearly, there was people against them. If you saw what Vegas and the money did.
I mean,
right?
it was, I guess so, but like there isn't, like, I wasn't seeing it in papers. I wasn't seeing like any like articles of any publicists being like, this is the end, no doubt. Lynn is going in and he's gonna end it.
I mean, a 3.5 point spread is what, pretty much a pick-em, neutral? Like that's like
that was an insulting spread. And
It was.
clearly, it shouldn't have been that at all. It should have been at least -7, -8.
Might have been a bait kind of thing. Like, oh, hey.
Oh, of course.
Like,
What do you mean? Vegas knows how to bait.
Yeah, and it just...
Nobody baits like Vegas.
That is
you know what I mean?
true. No one does that. It's one of those things, though, where it really just turned into, like, I turned that game off immediately after the third touchdown. I'm like, the Chargers are done.
No.
It's over. We have to put all of our eggs into ketchup on steak, man, and hopefully he goes ahead and does it the right way.
Unfortunately, there was nothing else on TV. I couldn't find any of the Bourne movies. It was like PBA bowling and
Star Wars, but it was the early trilogy. It was 1, 2, 3. Like, nobody wants a piece of that. Before we go into the NFC side of things, Tom Brady, he's going to go on the road to Arrowhead. First off, there's a huge cold front moving into Kansas City. Have you seen this already? They're tracking
13 degrees.
It's going to be -5 to 10 right now. The
is that
projection
wind chill or actual temp?
with how's it's going to feel on the field, basically. Like they're saying it's the coldest game potentially in Arrowhead history. When Tom Brady does win this game, which is inevitable, he will win it. He will tie for playoff road victories. Ready? Guess who it is? Mark Sanchez. That is how little Tom Brady has played on the road in his playoff career.
Right.
Think about his playoff games. Like it's ridiculous. He has never played on the road. Mark Sanchez right now at this moment has more playoff road victories than Tom Brady.
I'm sick to my stomach.
So wait, real quick, you think the Patriots are?
Patriots are 100%. Mahomes is going to look worse than he's looked all season. No doubt.
He put up 40 this year.
Doesn't matter.
In New England.
Doesn't matter. That was
does
November.
matter.
That was November. That wasn't Belichick cheat time.
It also wasn't peak full Chiefs going choke artist time. Like, they managed to win a playoff game for the first time in a while at Arrowhead. Congratulations, Chiefs! You did it!
Well, they got the monkey off their back. They lost a bunch to the Colts.
But now, ready? They got that playoff win. That means that it's just all the more reason that they're going to go ahead and trip over themselves.
Stomped.
And just, exactly. Like, I'm with you, man.
This is inevitable.
Yeah.
They are going to go full read.
Then why isn't the spread Patriots -1 then?
Because the books are stupid.
Chiefs are a
The
one
books
seed.
are stupid.
The books don't know shit.
So you're gonna let like people just get the free money with Patriots?
All I'm
plus
saying
3.
is that for the first time in 69 straight games, the Patriots are not favored. This is the first time. Seriously, that's a real fact. 69 straight NFL games. All the Super Bowls, the AFC Championship they played versus Denver, at Denver, where they lost and Peyton ended up getting in Super Bowl 50. Favored. First time in 69 games. Can you believe that?
That's insane.
That's domination. That's regardless of the wins and everything. Domination. You'll never see that again. Never see that again.
Ever. Best sports dynasty. Well, there's a lot of obviously dynasties,
All right,
the Celtics and whatnot, but still, NFL wise, that is just
and Elbers
69.
Tottenham.
They're not a dynasty. But did we get to the NFC?
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
get to the NFC a little bit. You had the Rams covered by a point.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles were the only underdog to cover.
But like you could have laced Saints live and murdered when they were down 7-0, down 14-0.
14-0 right away. I had the under. I was panicking right away.
Oh, you were loving it. Well, that was the worst start then for the
Worst start possible.
because you knew the Saints were going to load up, but you didn't think the Saints would shut them down.
No, and the defense performed after that 14-0 lead.
Yeah, it's just...
That was your favorite game out of the four, right?
Yeah, because it was the only one that was competitive throughout, I really thought. And even then, that game, it was still one of those where the Saints turned it on and it wasn't the same thing after that. So it really was just kind of a disappointing weekend on the whole when you were looking for drama, and it really didn't provide as much as it should have, especially, since it's proclaimed as the best weekend in football.
I was going to say, and going back to that point, because I did want to loop back, there's typically those one or two upsets. I just think that from our perspective, which is a gambling perspective, when we saw all the underdogs in Wild Card Weekend, when those dogs were barking, we had a feeling Vegas doesn't lose like twice in a row. Like, so all the John Q public that saw all those upsets in Wild Card Weekend, I'm taking the Eagles +8. Like, oh, they actually did cover. I'm an idiot. But anyways,
It's the one
Chargers was the biggest one.
Colts was another big one.
Everyone loved the Colts. They were going to dominate the Chiefs. They were going to go all over that defense.
Yeah. And then everyone, I don't know if everyone loved Dallas, but
America's team.
People do tend to love Dallas as strangely as they do.
It's automatic. It's auto when you see 4 underdogs cover. Next weekend, you got to think 3 out of 4 favorites, and look what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
And there's only 3 NFL games left this year. 3.5 if you count the Pro Bowl as a half game.
No,
Kyle Williams is playing.
count it.
We've got 3. There's a reason to watch it, but it's not a real NFL
Could
game.
you imagine though, like in the Pro Bowl, Kyle Williams up the middle for like 48-yard touchdown? Like, come on, I think it's possible.
I'll take a 4-yard touchdown.
If he gets the blocking up front, he can make a man miss downfield.
Well, I mean, we saw his stiff arm game. It's not that good.
it's
Hopefully,
insane.
Fred Jackson's got some pointers for him. But yeah, no, like Kyle Williams being there gives me the reason to watch that.
No doubt.
One last time for Kyle Williams on the field representing the Bills, and
To Kyle.
to Kyle.
And you know what's great about this weekend though too is like both these matchups they both play in the regular season.
Yeah, you had a preview.
You had a Patriots win in New England 43-40, and then I believe Rams played in New Orleans.
Yep.
And it was 45-35 Saints. I mean,
On like a late touchdown. Like they were going back and forth the whole game.
So
both games.
Real quick, did the unders have any chance?
Oh, both unders. Pound
No
them.
way.
Pound them.
Both,
Yep.
I think both unders are sitting around 57.
Yep.
And both those overs were at, what, 80?
Yeah, that's why.
I mean,
that's
are
why.
you kidding me?
It's like in college basketball when 2 teams combine for like 90 in the first half, and then you look at the second half over under, and it's like 73.5.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so what's your auto bet? Under?
Pound.
Both.
Tease them both up 5 points. Teaser into one bet.
It's just tough.
That's a can't lose, folks. That's a can't lose.
A teaser? You can lose if one of them hits.
No, you don't lose teasers. You don't lose teasers.
You're telling me right now you don't think one of these games with a 70?
No chance. Mahomes and the Chiefs do not put up 21. Andy Reid is just festering on the sideline this weekend, looking for warmth. And you know what it is? It's the most frustrating thing because Mahomes. I bet you they go off yardage wise. But when it counts, there will be a 4th and 2 they'll go for. They won't get it.
Yep.
There will be a field goal. They doink. Because you know what? This is the Patriots, and they don't lose. I'm like the fan from Major League, Uncle Eddie. That's where I'm at with the Patriots. I'm just done. I'm done.
Yeah, I think if there's one under that has a chance, it's going to be that KC New England game. I really think that one has a realistic chance, especially if it's going to be that blistering cold. That would probably be the biggest factor in all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Patriots could end up playing like that, churning it out run game, because they've been much better with running the football with James White, with Sony Michel, with Rex Burkhead. That this could be that game where you see that. And the Chiefs defense, are we going to really trust them to slow that down? I don't think so. And that's where I think that under has a chance. The Louisiana Superdome, forget it. Greatest show on turf all over again. Let's go. It's going to be Rams and Saints.
Over. Kramer says pound the over.
I'm taking the over on the NFC game. There's
over
no way.
NFC, under AFC.
There's great
All I'm saying is if the
conditions.
Eagles had taken away Michael Thomas, they're playing NFC Championship right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they couldn't stop him. They could not stop him. Now they do have a depleted secondary. I think that Sean McVay, He's like, in a way, a mini Belichick. He tries to take away what you do well. He's going to take away Michael Thomas the first thing he can.
Dude, nobody can stop Michael Thomas.
Marcus Peters?
No, he's had an off year. He has not been that good this year.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like the Rams defense on paper has one of the most talented defenses that there should be. But outside of Aaron Donald, how many of them have really lived up to it?
It's like everybody kind of tries 70% on that defense except for Aaron Donald. Or like when a DB gets a ball.
Aaron Donald at 70% is one of the best players in the NFL anyway.
I know, those abs are insane.
That man is terrifying.
He is.
Like there's Khalil Mack, there's Aaron Donald, there's Fletcher Cox, and then everyone else.
Nothing.
So, big weekend coming up.
Big weekend.
Championship Sunday. Our daily plays have been firing pretty much every day now. Check out trainwrecksports.com for the locks.
Was that the hotline?
Is that Frank? It could be Frank.
It could be Frank. We can't take Frank's call.
He always calls in when we do the live shows.
He knew. Not
Let's
Frank.
hear it.
Not Frank
Not
A.
me.
Frank
Not Frank
and
G.
Chief
As
Dewag.
in me.
Yeah, we had to do a little
God.
Frank clarification there.
Yeah, it's just
A little Frankification.
he'd be going off right
Speaking
now.
of which, so obviously we're familiar with you guys and everything like that, but the casual person or degenerate tuning into our feed, might not be. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about, obviously, in addition to working at Entercom and WJ, like what you guys do?
All right. Well, I mean, for me, it's almost like a list of what I don't do at this point.
He's a handyman. He's an everyman.
I'm the utility player. Kind
Wow.
of thing. That's
So in fantasy baseball, you're like second base, shortstop, third, outfield.
Yes, I'm a fantasy
That's-
gem in that kind of way. Like the versatility's there.
Tremendous.
Producer or on-site engineer for some things like Bandits games or stuff like that. And then there's sometimes I'm there helping out with co-hosting with the Nightcap or with Sports Talk Saturday or everything like that while running the board. And even visiting radio, I've gotten a chance to do that this year for a couple of teams for the Sabres games. But it's pretty much a shorter list of what I don't do, and that would be host regularly. And that's where the Leftovers podcast comes in.
I was going to say, tell me about the Leftovers.
With Frank Arcury, my buddy there. I mean, Frank and I go back to Buff State.
Yep.
Both got hired into Entercom, and the next thing you know,
Couple of Bengals.
and then the next thing you know is, hey Frank, let's do a podcast. And that's pretty much how it goes from there.
By the way, wearing my Buffalo State Bengals sweatpants right now.
Hardo. I've got the colors, I guess.
You guys are always representing. So now you guys made a absolutely foolish decision this past year, and you had me on the podcast, and I just absolutely destroyed you guys. The ratings have never been so low, but you came back. You bounced back big. You bounced back big. You bounced back big. What are you guys? Have you guys any big names lined up for 2019?
I would say I have no idea. We take it literally by week basis.
Sounds like Trainwreck standard protocol.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'll just text someone and be like, like Joe Yurden, the Athletic. I'll be like, yo, Joe, you feel like coming on for a pod? And you're like, yeah, let's hit it. Matt Perino, one of our favorites.
All great guys here.
I love talking to
here.
Perino. One of the more unconventional names that we got last year, probably one of my favorite interviews, was Sportsnet Steve Dangle.
The Dangle Man.
Yeah. So Steve Dangle came on our show talking about previewing the NHL for the year. And that was pretty cool. I mean, he's a big-time Leafs fan. You got to forgive that part because he was at least, allowed to have that part because Leafs are good now, everything like that. The Sabres, he said to start the year, I'm angry at what the Sabres did because they could actually be good.
Well, there was a lot of pundits saying that, and you bring up a good point. We had the luck of going to Baltimore, Philly, West Virginia, Detroit, so we've gotten a bunch of outside sports perspectives on Buffalo sports. You guys are seeing that all the time too. That's a nice benefit of working there. You're seeing a lot of opinions, guys coming in from the outside and everything. It really seems like the Buffalo sports picture is kind of budding if Josh Allen and co can become what they're supposed to be there.
I'll say it. Frank has actual video proof of this.
I do.
Oh no!
If there's video proof, it can never be good.
I was very critical of the Josh Allen pick. There's video proof.
You weren't alone. You weren't alone.
There were expletives yelled that were captured on video. So thanks, Frank.
You're welcome.
But I was a little, emotional about that one. I was thinking, all right, but everyone was. Who wasn't for that pick? I am happy to have eaten the crow on that. Josh Allen looked not only better than I expected him to be, but he actually looked good this season, I thought, ever since he came back from injury. And I was one of those people pounding the table on this dude cannot play right away. This dude cannot play right away. He needs to sit up. He needs to sit in the sidelines, learn things from someone else. And then Nathan Peterman happened again.
I want to say as a conventional fan real quick, I just didn't understand how he couldn't play right away. Like, I get that you're not NFL ready, but like if you're picking a guy in the top 10, I mean, I just feel like that guy should be ready to play. With that said, it made sense to me as this go, because you just see how Roy's, I mean, geez, he could throw a 25-yard out on the money, but he cannot throw like a 5-yard swing pass to save his life.
Remember
or like
training
anything
camp?
like that. Yeah, it was,
Remember training camp? He couldn't hit a swing pass.
Yeah.
And when he got injured against the Texans, it was a bit of a blessing in disguise for his development. It was one of those things where he was able to go ahead and learn something from a different set of quarterbacks. And that was probably the biggest thing in all of it. Yeah, Derek Anderson was terrible. Nathan Peterman was beyond that. And then Matt Barkley shows up too. And Matt Barkley's not a savior either.
He kind of was, though. He kind of was.
He was that one.
He was right at the ship, and he was.
That
And
one
he's
guy.
honestly probably the greatest thing to ever happen in the history of the Bills.
That is
franchise.
true. And you got to. You got on.
I mean, we gotta realize,
you got a soft
we gotta
spot,
realize
yeah.
how big Matt Barkley and that thing was. But with that said, and I hate to be naive about this, man, people are really harmonizing the Derek Anderson era here in Buffalo. I mean, geez, that guy came and just put out 2 of the stinkiest performances from a QB, and because he's a good guy in the room, it's like,
Well, the
he
thing
gets like,
was-
you know.
Like everyone was saying, maybe we should get our Josh McCown. Maybe we should get everything like that. And Josh McCown is good. Josh McCown's
I
terrible.
hate you, Al. Shout out to Supreme for the refill, by the way.
And the big thing here is they needed someone who's been around the league and done it. When you had A.J. McCarron and Nathan Peterman here,
I mean, that was just such a ridiculous oversight to have 3 QBs with like 6 starts between them.
And
And
they
as
were
your
all-
QBs, like that was so stupid.
and it was all
that
primarily
was
one
so
guy.
stupid.
Yeah, and of course, it becomes, oh, really? You didn't think that he would actually get better with different quarterbacks in the room like that after he's now learning on the sidelines based on the fact he was forced to, but he still got to learn from different people that have been there and done that.
Almost everyone gets better with perspective.
Exactly, and that's what that was, and they fixed a problem that could have been solved at the start of the season.
Absolutely fair. That was like 6 weeks in when everything unfolded after the Titans. I was so pissed because they clearly got caught with their pants down. Even 2 weeks in with the Allen situation starting week 2. But they admitted it in that bye week. I mean, Bean took accountability, so I've kind of relaxed on him. You know, I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does with trying to get new talent in here because, yeah, everyone's like, oh, but you drafted only defensive players. Well, I mean, I think the guy was part of the regime that helped get Deion Dawkins. I mean, yeah, that was McDermott's draft, but they got a guy in Deion Dawkins. They got a guy in Wyatt Teller who's at least not a complete flop. I do want to see more from him. They got Robert Foster for nothing, undrafted, signed off the streets as an undrafted free agent, and that guy is only going to be a number 2, number 3 receiver for this team right now, going forward.
His fantasy projections are going to be crazy.
His fantasy season was...
Because there'll be people who are like,
Josh
he's
Allen
the
and
top
Robert
30,
Foster,
and
yeah.
there'll be people who are like, he's not in the top 80.
Josh Allen and Robert Foster won people some championships. They won some money for people, especially with like Odell Beckham getting injured for the rest of the season, and you had other quarterbacks kind of struggling along. Aaron Rodgers was banged up every other week, and then you could pick up Josh Allen from the free agency, and then bam, there you go, fantasy gold right there. The last 4 weeks of the season in particular, the New England game was a bit of a hiccup, but Josh Allen still got his. Robert Foster still ended up a decent day if he was in a PPR format. Like, those two saved fantasy seasons, but more importantly, those two showed growth and development from when they were back into the lineup. And that was the biggest thing. And I think that's why I'm excited, because, yeah, McDermott's a defensive coach, but Dable has given me quite a bit of faith as a play caller, as a scheme, as someone to draw up the schemes. And Brandon Beane
It's like
is
sometimes
so-
he looks really good, and sometimes he looks like, what the hell are you doing, Abel?
Yes, and
that fair? Is that
yes,
fair? Okay.
Yes, and that's kind of the Bills' offense on the whole.
I guess that was like amazing, or
Like-
what the hell are you doing?
Exactly.
And Josh Allen with his 30-yard across the body throws.
And it was almost like there was no in between with the Bills' offense. You either were getting 7 points or less, or you were getting a nice show on both sides of the ball.
Speaking of no in between, we're gonna segue here to we're a little less excited about the Sabres, but we're gonna go on to the next. We're gonna lock everybody down in 2019. You guys are the earliest guests in the year, so unfortunately, you got to be the guinea pigs here.
Bring it.
Bills 2019 record, go.
Ooh, without even draft picks.
I know, no draft picks, no anything. It's a tough. That's what I'm saying. We're acknowledging. It's like when you're doing class presentations and the teacher's like, "If you go first, I will reward you based on that fact." Like, you know, we're gonna judge you a little bit easily.
Humble brag, I was that guy.
You were
in school. Like it was.
When I heard I was getting any leniency, I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going first, man. Like it's like, let's get this over with. I was up all night. Got maybe 3 hours of sleep. Let's just get this over with so I can sleep through the rest of your class. Deal?
Yep.
Deal. All right, cool.
Deal.
So,
Or no deal.
I know.
Or no deal. I'm still
coming back to
sleeping.
MSNBC.
Or it's more or less like, or you don't like me sleeping in your class, but I still went first, so suck on that. I'm sleeping anyway. I don't care what you think.
All right, quit dodging the question, Kramer. We want an answer.
I was just trying to give Frank some time to think of his answer.
Okay,
I'll go first then.
Okay, all right, let's hear it, Frank.
8-8.
8-8, and are we happy with Josh Allen after this year?
I think so. I think right now they go 6-10 this year, and with the way Allen's progression was towards the end of the year, that if that goes throughout the whole season, he could win a couple more games.
Most definitely, and there were definitely some games for the taking this year both ways. So NFL's obviously close. Krames, lay it on me.
9-7, missed the playoffs out on tiebreakers. Call it karma for making the postseason and breaking the drought.
Not Kramer, karma.
I think one of the biggest questions here is, does Brady retire if he wins this Super Bowl?
You're not predicting.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, he's a
If
sudden
he does, and there's part of me that thinks if he wins, he still comes back. They're still that good.
If he wins, he's not coming back. He's got too much of an ego. He's not going to want to win and then lose.
Here's the big deal. He's not winning the Super Bowl this year.
Oh my God, he's 2 games away. Kramer, what are you even thinking?
Same thing.
I got to go with Frank.
I think LA will beat New England for sure.
I think the Saints.
You think LA's beating the Saints?
I think LA is going to crush New Orleans.
So you have both
by
road,
14.
So you have both
By
road
14.
dogs and both unders.
Yep.
Woo.
Give me Rams.
Under,
Rams 34, New Orleans 20. The fact that they looked like poop last week, McVay's not going to let that go.
The funniest thing is that could be an under.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's it.
cool.
That's
Like
what I'm
that-
saying.
that
That's why
score's
it's
the-
so weird.
What about the Superdome over?
Oh, I'm taking it. I'm just saying, his
okay.
prediction
She's
is
saying
funny that
54
could-
isn't typically under.
Yeah, that's not a typical
Alright.
under in the NFL, and yet it still could be the under.
It still hits. But I'll go. I like Frank's 8-8.
Okay, all right.
Eight.
We'll lock you in for was it January 15th on
Yeah.
that one? So we'll get a couple more from you along the way. But you guys are locked in 8-8, 9-7.
Yep.
But we're all happy with Allen. You're saying.
Yes, I think
That's the most important thing. Besides the record, is are we pleased with our second-year QB who we have 2 more years on his rookie deal?
Yes, it's Buffalo Bills 2020.
Not to mention, I think that there's still steps that have to be made. Even with what you do this year, there's still going to be more steps that have to be done for getting this offense and getting more playmakers around it. It's not going to be a one-year fix. That is impossible to do. However, they can take some steps in getting him some more weapons. Please get me Riley Ridley from Georgia. Please, I beg of you.
Ridley.
Riley Ridley is legit, and I think probably one of my favorite prospects for this draft class. If Jonah Williams is gone by the time the Bills pick, give me Riley Ridley or give me DK Metcalf. I want them.
Frank.
I haven't looked at much of the draft prospects yet. Derek is
That's my life.
Yeah,
The draft
it's literally his
Be
life.
my draft feed.
You want your draft feed? I'm here. I'm here, bro.
It's always Derek.
I'm already putting up ideas for a mock draft. I've already got the spreadsheet.
All I'm
up
saying
and
for
running.
mock draft is if Anthony Johnson slips by the Bills in the 3rd round, there is someone with a humongous blind spot at one Bills drive. That's all I'm going to say. Al can't hold off any longer on his true blue talk, but we do have to delay for some true blue and gold talk.
That's fine.
We're going to segue from one prediction to another. Tee us off here. Are the Sabres going to make the playoffs, boys?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, so they've fallen out of the spot. They've been struggling. The pundits are like, besides the 10-game winning streak, they're one of the worst teams in the NHL, yada, yada, yada.
I mean,
you can't take away a 10-game winning streak, though. That's why it exists.
The biggest thing is this, and this is something that the pundits are going to ignore. They haven't watched all the games.
They haven't watched all the games.
And if you're watching this Sabres team, more times than not, they are looking rather impressive. It's just that sometimes these things are not going their way right now. And that's what happens with a 10-game winning streak, is that bounces are going to go your way.
Everything went their way.
Everything goes their way.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not like they look like chumps. Yes, the secondary scoring has been terrible.
Yep.
But it's not like they've been chumps.
They haven't been chumps, no.
It's
And
still though.
you can see, in the NHL, one-line teams do make the playoffs if they are that impressive. And what is Eichel, Skinner, Reinhart? That is that good.
Oh, they are good. They are good. There's no doubt. And when you see the hot boys out there, it's great. You just know they always have a chance to score. With that said, let's say you guys are Botterill and Housley. How are you fixing what's clearly broken right now with the Sabres?
If I'm Jason
Scandella, like there's a lot of popular
If I-
opinions out there on Sabres Twitter.
Yeah. If I'm Jason Bauer right now, I'm not doing anything until a week before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And when that week before the trade deadline, which is February 25th, comes around, you're looking around the league, you're seeing what's available, who's available, that in what you want. We know that they want a guy who is probably around 22, 23 to around 26 years old, who's going to be cost control for the next at least a year or two. If a guy like that is available, they're going to call. They're going to make an inquiry. How much is it going to cost? We have to remember too. A lot of people are talking about Sabres have 3 first-round picks. Well, technically that's true. Reality is they only have 2 right now.
They have 2.
They have 2.
That one's going to be
Blues
protected.
pick, the Blues pick, likely we're not going to know if that's going to be ours or St. Louis is going to keep that.
And then we're literally hard for a Blues tank next year. Remember Islanders during the Eichel year? Like when they were good? Oh, that was the worst.
Oh, that was the worst.
We need them to be terrible next year.
We need them to be bad.
And that's assuming that they give us the pick this year, that they stay within the bottom 10 of the league. If they finish outside the bottom 10, that pick is ours no matter what.
You gotta love the internet commenters like, St. Louis is going for a full tank. They're not even gonna want Hughes. Like that would be like ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. Come on. Let's be real here.
There are people who
The
say
strangest
that.
thing about St. Louis is that they could get worse before it gets better. Even if they punt the pick to us next year, there might be a solid chance at a top 5 pick there anyway.
Wow.
As for this year,
That's what I've been seeing a lot of.
because
That's
the deadline could be something that they keep.
and they're still in like mid
Yeah.
tank period, like where they haven't gotten rid of everything.
Braden Shen is probably going to be one of the most popular players in the deadline. And there have been rumors about trading Vladdy Tarasenko.
Even I know. I've heard those rumors. I don't hear anything.
The fact that those rumors are coming out, it's like, St. Louis might blow things up. As for this year, I'm with Frank on this. I'm not changing anything. And you mentioned Scandella, and you mentioned the defensive core.
It's a popular one going out there.
Let's be real about something here tonight. Pilot kind of deserved to get his butt sent up.
People were so hurt about that Pilot move. The Pilot light is out. Deal with it, people.
He was that third period. Put him in the press box against the Lightning.
Yeah.
He had a terrible giveaway to give them the game-winning goal.
Defensive zone turnovers are just the most frustrating thing in sports.
You can't do it, and that's something, especially for a young player, that's going to get you sent to the press box. I know Scandella has not been good this year. I know that he should be put in the press box at points sometimes, maybe even over Beaulieu. However, he's still a veteran guy. He's still a guy that Phil Housley seems to trust. And look, Housley's made some questionable decisions. Let's not lie about that. However, I'm not going to go ahead and sink the ship on him right now.
I want to package us together real quick. I'm in the same opinion you guys. I think they're going to make the playoffs just barely. We're going to have some real must-win games down the stretch, especially in February. With that said, I also agree 1,000,000% with what Frank said. Everyone was like last year, Botterill's not going to be able to deal Kane because everyone knows he wants to deal Kane. I mean, I know the Sharks got a pretty good deal for him, but they still had to deal like a second-round pick. I mean, it wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
He holds his hand as long as he can, and I think that's why he'll be quiet until right near the deadline before he makes a move.
And I only think he makes a move if the right move is out.
Oh, yeah, with a player with multiple years of control, everything like that. That's definitely been out
Dude's
there.
been pretty damn savvy for his short time here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to trade only 3 picks, no first for Jeff Skinner. Yeah, it's on the UFA, but at the same time, the dude's looked so good, and
he wants to be here.
He wants to be here. It's close enough to home, and he's not going to be someone that would be in Toronto's plans. That it just makes it all the more promising with that. Connor Sherry, yeah, you kind of wanted something more out of him at this point. But the way it's progressing, the Sabres aren't going to have to give up a conditional third anymore if he doesn't hit the 40-point plateau.
Fair.
There's a lot here that I've seen from Jason Botterill that I'm thinking, I like this guy. I really like this guy. I think that they really did a great job, a home run kind of hire with him. I think the Sabres will be fine. The wild card race for those 2 spots is going to be so contested. I am going to be butthurt based on a game. Like, the Sabres could be in the playoff spot and they dropped wild card 2, and I'm going to be pissed because I do not want Tampa Bay.
It's tough with the Tampa Bay game because going into it, it was one you marked as a loss, but then they were winning like through like 3 or 2 and a half. So like you wanted to win, and they played great.
Tampa is low key scummy
They are.
against the Sabres. They are low-key scummy. And I don't like them. Not to mention...
That Eichel elbowing call?
Oh... that was horrible.
Go on, you gotta sell it. You gotta sell it.
No, you're doing more than Eichel did.
Yeah,
Your elbow came up. His elbow did not.
Yeah.
He actually was trying to avoid McDonough.
It was bad.
He's trying to avoid
the boo birds at the key bank. It was...
You can hear him. You can hear
The
him.
worst part is that there was a worse call that preceded it.
Yeah.
Imagine getting cross-checked in the face and going to the box for it.
Should have been high sticking, technically.
Still, it was one of those things where you got cross-checked in the face and he went to the box.
Cross-checked in the face should be like a 20-minute penalty. Like it should, the NHL should actually...
Sergachev should have been gone, and then Larson should have not had to go to the box because he got cross-checked in the face.
Yeah, that was terrible.
They only gave Larson the penalty because he did
Kinda
give
scuffed him a
Sergachev
little
little push beforehand, a little cross check, but I don't think it was enough to call a penalty on it.
And then the elbowing call was not enough to call an elbowing call.
Yeah.
I think the only
Completely changed the game.
Yeah.
That was a game changer. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
I think the only reason that Eichel got that penalty was because of how McDonough reacted to getting elbowed in the back of the head.
Sell job.
It was the
whiplash. Grade A
being
sell.
hit. Yeah, it was definitely a sell, but the refs always look for that, and that's why they make the call.
Well, hey, before we transition to UB, I know we're running a little behind, but that's when you get the quality. When you get Drake and Jay-Z, sometimes you run over on the concert time, people. I'm sorry.
Right.
With that said, tonight, Sabres-Edmonton. Big game. McDavid, Eichel. The line, Edmonton minus 120, even though the Sabres have been scuffling. I think this is a clear sign from Vegas that Sabres, if they roll in and get it done tonight with Hutton and net, have a pretty good chance of getting out with the W.
Well, yeah, because let's think about this and let's be real about something. The Sabres have 3 players that you can count on offensively. The Oilers have 1 guy.
One guy.
Not even a line, it's just Connor McDavid.
Were you saying they were like calling everybody like desperate, like a junior with no prom date?
Oh my God, Ryan Rishaug got a report out there that Edmonton's looking for more scoring and they could be throwing first-round picks or prospects out there. I swear to God, if Peter Chiarelli trades Kailer Yamamoto, I'm going to laugh my ass off because Edmonton is just a disaster for a team that had 4 top picks. Use all of them on forwards.
Remember when we could have let them have Thomas Vanek for those 4 picks, essentially?
What happened is Peter Chiarelli is not a good general manager.
No,
oh yeah, let's hire the guy that traded Tyler Seguin. That sounds like a great idea. And of course,
then he proceeds to trade Taylor Hall.
Yeah, the same draft class.
It makes sense.
Like, remember how in the draft debates back in that year it was, is it Taylor or Tyler? Which one would you take first overall? Guess what Peter Chiarelli did? He traded both of them. Both of them legitimate MVP candidates for at least one season. Taylor Hall winning MVP, and he's apparently just for Adam Larson. He trades for Griffin Reinhart, spending what was it, a first and a second, or was it 2
Reinhart.
Or was it 2 firsts?
No, it was a first. And
Okay, it was a first and a second for Griffin Reinhart. Who's Griffin Reinhart? He's just Sam's brother.
What's up?
That's it. And then he was given up for nothing in the expansion draft, which he didn't make that team. And Peter Chiarelli is just terrible. And I love that he is terrible because Edmonton, their management does not deserve Connor McDavid. They don't deserve the playoffs. And the NHL must be kicking themselves still from day one when Edmonton won that lottery because no casual fan gets to watch Connor McDavid.
Nobody, you're right.
Yeah, no, like, I guarantee you if you ask people in 46 states, they wouldn't even have any idea who he is,
I
unfortunately.
don't even think I can count on 2 hands if I've seen Connor McDavid that many games.
Yep. Although, yeah, it was amazing
I
when
haven't-
they made
no.
that run, the Western Conference Finals, with Draisaitl.
But that's it.
I know, that was it.
And then he
But
gives
if Sabres made a run,
and then he gives
Sabres made a run,
Draisaitl
sure we'd be going nuts.
8.5.
8.5 a year for
For
Draisaitl?
1 year of first-line production.
That dude's a joke, and I want
Not
Buffalo
great.
to kick him to the curb tonight. I say 3-1.
3-1. I love it. Predictions in
Under.
honor of our funnel guy. Let's fire out some predictions there. We got 3-1.
I think it's going to be 4-2.
4-2 Sabres?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over.
I'm going with, it's a little sloppy. Ooh, you don't love it, but 3-2. Edmonton gets a goal in that last 90 seconds, and like it's like, oh, I have to worry for 20 seconds. Oh, it's terrible. 3-2. Sabres win.
2-0 Oilers, McDavid with both.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yo, if they get shut out by Edmonton,
If they get shut out and he scores
Sabres
I just have to be something different.
No,
I know.
I get that, but Sabres After Dark will be a cancer.
Remember? Oh, say it. It would be sad. It would be more than sad.
It would be sad.
I'll be tuned in at 11:30 tonight.
I think you got the same reaction as when you picked the Ravens opening day over the Bills. Remember? And I was like, everyone's like, boo, boo, and you're like, oh, they might lose to the Ravens guys.
And remember I took the Chargers week 2?
Yeah,
Tell me,
boo. Okay, well, let's go to something that you don't have to get booed about. The talk of the town, one way or the other, whether it's the women's team, the men's team, or this past week, even a little football news, UB. It's just awesome to see them in the news. I love it. I love seeing this university that's looking to make a jump to a true sports school getting the coverage they deserve. It's a relief.
It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Seriously.
Rolling up, I never thought the men's basketball team would be in the top 25.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
they are so fresh,
Right?
And not to mention, I mentioned the fact, I love the NFL draft, and I get to see 2 UB products there, and Anthony Johnson and Tyree Jackson now getting
Senior
added
Bowl.
to it in the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
I watch the Senior Bowl no matter what. This is going to be even more interesting to have a little bit of a personal stake here with a little bit of a local touch to be there for the Senior Bowl. I'm going to be all up in the practice reports from every one of the trusted guys, the guys that I love and know. I'm just going to be scouring every time. How Tyree look? How did Anthony Johnson look? Anthony Johnson, you mentioned third round kind of thing. If the Bills want to get him there,
And that's our second or third receiver. If we can get him, why not just take our second or third receiver?
This is a guy who was projected first round
jeez!
before he had a hamstring injury, and
that's such an NFL injury, by the way. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tear the hamstring a little bit. You'll be fine in the NFL. It's not like you can't take a hit.
And now you have Brad Ryder tweeting at 3 a.m. that potentially Tyree Jackson could be the first quarterback taken off the board.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
that was a bit.
Let's touch on this football news first.
I like Tyree's decision.
I like it too. There's no point to go to a university where you might not even play as a chance of getting more exposure. They have all the film. You're starting to see these scouts who are finally getting a look at UB football, who only can cover the Power 5.
Yep.
You had our insider Andy Olson. He showed us a couple of big pundits looking at Tyree's throws. They're like, oh my gosh, a 57-yard throw on the run against Rutgers. People are finally seeing these plays that Tyree made.
I think with Tyree Jackson, when he went to the transfer portal, I think one of his biggest targets was Miami. And then when Mark Richt was outed there,
he has no
and now
foundation.
Tyree declares for the draft.
And KJ Osborne.
Miami. Yeah,
And all UB fans know that's Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, and it just so when Rick is out there in Miami, Florida, I thought that was his target. I thought that was where he wanted to go, and when that dissipated, Tyree saw the next step.
That would have been a good spot because they've been terrible on offense the last couple of years. So
And
he would have definitely had a chance to start.
And not to mention, you get the ACC, and you get to get a little bit more of that exposure. But when a coach goes ahead and leaves, what happens? Recruits end up tailing off.
Yeah.
But at this time, you don't want to risk an injury, and if at the worst case scenario, even if you're a third, fourth round pick, how many millions of dollars are you profiting?
Not to mention, though, the biggest thing is that Tyree's playing with house money. He's got his degree.
Yeah.
And, he recognizes the fact that,
But how much money do you make, though, if you're a third, fourth round pick?
A lot of money. He does have his
Enough.
degree, and shout out to Tyree. He's been corresponding with us actually a little bit, back and forth from going the decision. We're very proud of him. Might be coming on soon. I don't mean to lace that there. But with that said, third or fourth round pick, I think Al might be being a little overzealous here. But with that said, I hope that he is.
I mean, all I'm saying is you got
Preseason, he was top 100 prospects. He fell out of that range.
No, he was. After the first 3 games, he was there.
He was there. There
were draft boards
There were
that
whispers.
had him 27, 28 first round. And that's not. I am not exaggerating.
Let's
not
face
making
it,
up.
Josh Allen was he even a first round prospect at this time last year?
Yes.
He had just gotten there from Kuiper though, hadn't he?
Yes.
He had just made that jump.
Yeah, Kuiper was kind of promoting him throughout before that last season in college, and everyone was saying, "Oh, hey, he's got the prototypical size and everything like that. He's got the arm strength, everything like." And then I was watching him in that senior season, and I'm like, are you guys serious? I don't want this guy. What's going on here? Like, no, I don't want, this ain't it, Chief. And then they take him.
This ain't it, Chief.
I was very pissed. And then I got to eat some crow on it, and it was slightly tasty.
Sometimes
that
eating
means
crow
that the
is
Bills
tasty.
were good. Yeah, I mean, when you're wrong about a Bills quarterback and he actually looks a lot better than you suspected he was going to be, that's some delicious crow. That's pretty tasty crow right there. Tyree Jackson, it's going to be kind of like, the skill set is almost similar to Allen, but just like Allen, one of the biggest flaws is decision making. He's just got to be a little better with the decision making up here. That Senior Bowl is going to be huge. The practice week is going to be
That's when all the reporters are there. That's when all the coaches are there. That's when the NFL coaches, people are there.
Every scouting department is there in full force. The week is going to be it, not the game. If you pay attention only to the game, that's how you get E.J. Manuel in the first round.
True.
The practice week is going to be the most important part. How does he look throughout the week? And that was one of the first steps of Josh Allen looking more legitimate as a first-round candidate.
True.
That's why Baker Mayfield showed up there. Man was not considered to be first overall until he showed up to the Senior Bowl. And the Senior Bowl, the process there, it really is important sometimes if you look good. So Aaron Donald. Nobody knew Aaron Donald was going to be the terror that he was until people saw him in the Senior Bowl. Like, this guy's worth a first-round pick. He's undersized. I don't care.
Shout out Jimmy Lomez, our inside source at Pitt, that did actually have Aaron Donald as being a beast. It was kind of like UB people had Khalil Mack being a beast.
Yep.
With that said, the theme of the show so far has been predictions. Obviously, we can't wait to see these bowls in the Senior Bowl. Predict for me right now, pick overall, where Anthony Johnson and Tyree Jackson go. Just give me a number. You don't have to give me a team. Give me a number.
All right.
Whoever's ready first.
Anthony Johnson, I'll probably say a third-round pick.
Okay.
Early.
Please give me the Bills. Please give me the
I
Bills.
will say
You would not
early.
have to give up anything, and the guy could potentially be a 1B. He could be a 1B at receiver.
Yeah, I'm going to call early third round, probably in the first 10 picks of the third round.
Please give him
And
to
that
me
is
at
where
that
the
range.
Bills are.
Yeah, they are.
As for Tyree Jackson, I'm probably saying a fifth-round grade.
I think
right
that's
now.
fair.
And depending on how he does throughout the draft process, that could rise. But right now, I would say, all things considered, he's probably a fifth-round guy.
Okay.
I can see Anthony Johnson going early third as well, agreeing with Derek on that. I think Tyree Jackson, I can also see him being a more mid to late third round pick. I think that a fifth round grade, maybe fourth round is kind of where he is right now. But I also think a team is going to reach on a quarterback like that because
This is a pathetic class.
yeah, the class
That's why he came out, too.
isn't
That's
that
why he came
good.
out.
I wanted to say we had some news in the quarterback class today. Kyler Murray announces that he is foregoing his Oakland A's contract and any negotiations. He's declared for the NFL draft. I looked into it. He has 3 days to take this back, apparently. So once you declare for the NFL draft, you have 72 hours there. But he's apparently going. With that said, though, I mean, he's a quarterback that going in the draft, even though he might be a first-round pick, I feel like that almost doesn't even affect anyone who would be in the market for Tyree whatsoever. You're in the market for a 6'7" guy, a 5'10" guy announcing he's eligible. I mean, that's just a world of difference, isn't it?
It means nothing.
It means
Honestly.
nothing, and also,
Unless you're Brad Ryder.
Yeah, the first quarterback.
Our friend Brad.
wouldn't it be a little ironic if he got drafted by Oakland, Kyler Murray?
That would be amazing.
It really would.
Like, nah, we don't want Derek Carr anymore.
Wait, are they Oakland for one more year?
Yes, they are
Oh,
Oakland.
they have one more year.
They might be.
And they're in the Coliseum.
Well, they might be, because it might be like they don't have a place right now.
Oh, a football team in Vegas is going to be amazing, though. Going there for a Bills game, betting it at the concession
my.
stand.
You saw what the Knights did. Who knows when
Oh,
it's
no.
the LA Raiders or the Vegas Raiders.
The Vegas Raiders, Gruden and
Gruden's
MACtion.
their head coach, so I don't know.
They might do something stupid because that's what John Gruden's MO is apparently.
He's going to do something. That's the most
it's gonna be
comforting
stupid.
thing for me is that no matter what, Gruden is going to do something.
One of my favorite stats this year: Oakland Raiders total sacks, last in the NFL, 13. Khalil Mack, 12.5.
Yep. Hey.
Just incredible.
They traded Khalil Mack.
They treated
13 total sacks.
Ugh. And then every week hearing John Gruden say, "Yeah, we need more pass rushers." You had one.
Yeah,
bro.
it wasn't like he was pulling an Antonio Brown either, where he's like, "I don't like this team and I don't want to play." He was just like, "I wanted a contract in case like I tear an ACL. I'm not worth 120 million anymore."
I feel
Yeah.
like I should
want
get
my
paid.
value. Yeah.
I want to get paid because I know that I'm good, and
That's it. You can, you hate to say it, but especially in the NFL, in a blink of an eye, you can be gone for 9 to 15 months. So, like, literally, when you have a chance to get paid 80 plus mil, like, you're leveraging that situation a little bit. That's what he did.
You're trying to get your contract. You're trying to be there for the team long term too. Like, it's not just about the money. The money is nice. The cheddar's nice, but at the same time, you want your longevity. You want to be secure, and that's why some of these things happen. And it just, and then John Gruden goes, "No, we're gonna trade you." All right, bro. You do you. Have fun. I mean, they're not even in the range to get Nick Bosa anymore. That's hilarious.
Of course, perfect to win out of that range, just so you can't get an actual good pass rusher. From the hard topics to the hardwood, Al's team top 25, only up to 16. A lot of UB insiders pissed that they didn't climb more with all of those teams losing. It's more mid-major disrespect. I think UB will deal with it for years. It's not going to be just like this season. It's going to be years. Mid-major disrespect, and that's honestly what this coaching staff is using to fuel this squad.
To be honest, though, I'm happy though with the 3. I really am. Going from
It's
19
not a bad jump, but
to
people
16.
were hoping like 14. Like,
Yeah.
I think 14 was the number people were shooting for, especially with all the losses. Didn't 11 through 18 lose?
Yes, and some teams multiple times. But I was looking at the rankings today. The team that jumped us to 15 was Marquette.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You can't put us behind. The
So
fact that
it's-
we're only behind them by sweats, it's crazy.
So it's like we lost to Marquette. Marquette beat Creighton on the road, and beat
Miracle game, by the way.
And-
My -3 Creighton was just that was disgusting.
and beat Seton Hall home.
Creighton up 5 with 4 seconds left, and my Creighton -3 loses outright. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
That's rough. That is
Unreal.
rough. Pretty rough.
Unreal.
That's rough. But yeah, no, like it's like you guys said though, the mid-major disrespect is going to be there, and I do like the fact that it's going to keep happening because there's more added fire. There's more to it that's going to keep them extra motivated to go ahead and just keep whooping ass out there.
yeah. They got to run through the MAC. They got to
Undefeated.
They got to win every game by at least 10.
When was the last time it was done? We saw the article like 40 years ago.
It's insane.
That's what they need to do. Will the rest of the schedule, will they be less than a 5-point favorite?
I mean, they got to go to Toledo
Next week, right?
No,
Or no, I'm sorry. What's the CBS Sports game? I'm sorry.
they got to go at Kent on the 25th.
I'm thinking that's going to be a little closer.
That's
right?
a tough match. I mean, Kent State athletically matches up with us a little bit, but I mean, they don't have the firepower we have. But we lost at Kent last year. I'm thinking that spread 6-7.
The thing that's still scary about UB to me is that, like, even in the game against Miami of Ohio, like, they didn't play great.
the first half,
Like, and they blow them out by, like, 25 plus.
That's
like,
what I'm
again,
saying.
like, that's really what's absurd. Even going back to the game, like, West Virginia, they played, like, pretty shitty, like, and then they still win. Cuse, they didn't play, like, great, like, in the first half, even for the first part of the second half.
yeah,
That, like, if they can really hit their stride at tournament time, Final Four?
there's a chance to go into Cleveland 30-1.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
a chance.
30-1.
That's a likelihood.
30
That's a
and
likelihood.
1. And then you win 3 games in Cleveland, you're 33-1.
Yeah.
And Selection Sunday, you're probably a 2 or a 3 seed.
And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna put that one game that they lost to Marquette under a microscope, and they're gonna be like, wow, 3 guys combined to shoot 78% from 3.
That's what I'm saying.
I wonder if that was like a aberration.
I mean, I'm not just saying this, and I'm not just saying this because Graham Couch says this, but this school is a legitimate top 20 school. Like, they are hands down, they are 5 seniors deep, they're 8 deep total. It's a roster that plays unbelievable defense, can shoot the 3 ball. They can compete with any team.
They knew what
really
they
can.
had to do. They the bigger programs from the Power 5, they can sit back, they can play a cake schedule in November and December, and then when conference plays, the talk will take over for itself. So they need, like, before conference play, like 10-4, 11-3. They need like that because they might go just above 500 in conference. With that said, UB knows that the MAC conference sorry to say it, doesn't get you like any type of tournament position unless you run through it. So
They
they booked those teams early in November, December. They took care of business. It was a blue collar effort.
It was, but the tough thing is, no one wants to play at alumni. So you're not going to get any Power 5.
You mean alumni?
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get any big time school to come play us. So you're gonna hope that some schools, thank you Syracuse, thank you Marquette, thank you Bob Huggins, to give us the opportunity to go there and play, because no one really wants to play us.
Well, it's slow and steady though. Maybe
twice.
2 or 3 years if we extend him, if he expands upon the dream house in Grand Island.
It's a beautiful home.
They could become the Gonzaga. Gonzaga was not there when they started, even though they had the dominant record. After a couple of years of the dominant record, finally they're getting that respect where they're in the 15 to top 10 every year. And UB could eventually be that, hopefully. And then when they are, you'll get teams coming into alumni. You'll get those teams trying to make a name for those coming into alumni. Number 8 Stanford came into the women's game because UB was taking care of business last year and everything like that.
Yeah,
the last couple of years.
That was a very tough game for those Cardinal women to schedule.
Oh my God,
they did it.
It was props to them, honestly.
Yeah, and it could just honestly, I feel like with UB, like the biggest thing is going to be, can you keep this going into next year? Because, like you guys said, they have 5 seniors deep. You've got to be ready to go for the next year. But this team looks special. They really do, and I'm excited to see. The biggest thing is it's going to be tough with expectations for this team. Tournament time, you have no idea what's going to happen. The tourney always goes ahead and gives you the wackiest kinds of things. I mean,
you're right, yeah.
And including, last year, I don't think anyone saw UB putting a beat down on Arizona. That wasn't just a win. That was just they demolished them, and I'm laughing my ass off the entire time, going, "This is amazing."
Plus 8.5.
Nato said it at halftime. We're the better team.
I mean, right?
And then that's why he's great. And you gotta love Nate.
Yeah. And then they hang with Kentucky, a team that I will always despise because
they were hanging.
Kyle Party is just a snake, and I always hate him.
So you're going from a 13 seed to potentially a top 4 seed this year.
I think they should.
So you're going to line yourself up with a much easier matchup to get to the Sweet 16, which is the goal this year. It is.
Once you're in 64, dude, every single team out there can light it up for one game.
But it's a better matchup than Arizona, Kentucky.
But Arizona was tissue paper. When you look at it, all they had to do was go through them.
The Pac-12's a joke.
I agree, but don't you say Arizona as a 4, they were overseeded, and people were like, Arizona should have been a 2 or something, because they won the
UNBC and you had the number 1 pick. Yeah. You had the number 1 pick.
You had the 16 seed though, and UNBC go ahead and win.
All bets are off. All bets are off. Once you get the tournament,
okay.
I agree. An easier matchup relatively on paper. But yeah, you're still going to get a team that will.
Anything can happen.
Here's a terrible prediction. Here's a terrible prediction that I even hate to say. If UB runs the MAC and still wins the MAC championship, I could totally see them being a 3, hosting a 14, and minus 4.5. That's what I'm saying. And I could totally see it. Because I tell you, once you get to March, all bets are off. All bets are off. But with that said, literally the pundits and everybody have doubted UB since the beginning. So that wouldn't be a change of pace.
I wouldn't even go ahead and peg them for a 3 based on the disrespect. I think that their most logical thing is a 5 seed.
No way. No, not at the table.
I understand that, but I could just see one of those things kind of happening where the selection.
Lenardi's already had him done in 3 or 4.
Yeah,
they've already before Marquette.
Shout out Joe Lenardi.
They've already been high up there. So if you keep winning,
it's just one of those things. I could just see it happening, and it's just come on, man, what are you doing? It's just it's like the Patriots. Everyone, I see it coming. I don't like it, and I'm gonna prepare for it. That's that kind of thing.
I see what you're saying. It may very well possible be where UB gets underseeded like that.
Oh, no doubt. It's more of a likelihood than
Just like how you just mentioned, Arizona was overseeded. Teams are going to get overseeded. Teams are going to get
Our
underseeded.
conferences are going to get overseeded. That is the life of college sports.
Oh, most definitely.
Sleep, give me some tunes. Give me some shout-outs.
We got some shout-outs. Real quick, hey. You know that Jerry Rice and Antonio Brown FaceTimed this past week?
No.
Antonio Brown to the 49ers. You heard it here first.
Ooh.
When you FaceTime with the all-time leading receiver in the NFL, and that is what Jerry Rice is, regardless of what anyone else thinks, I know that's pretty much a fact. Yeah, you're going to San Fran. Antonio Brown to San Fran. But if I'm going to start shout-outs, which is a tradition on the show, I'm going to go with the women's team. 2 tough wins on the road last week. Eastern Michigan, Miami of Ohio. You know, honestly, I'm not going to exaggerate things. If you're not watching this women's team, you're kind of missing out on some very entertaining basketball. Not only does UB have, obviously, the leading scorer in the nation, Sierra Dillard, tied now for leading scorer in the nation at 25.9 points per game. I mean, they just have a great supporting cast of players, and Coach Jack, honestly, is one of the most inspiring coaches that I've ever seen. So, shout out to the women's team and get going. Oh my God, run through brick and brick. Double brick.
Double brick.
Shout out to them. Great win. Oh, and Sierra Dillard, obviously, for winning ESPN Women's Player of the Week. Great performances last week. School high, school of record, 43 points against Eastern Michigan. Insane.
Nice.
All right, shout out. I'm going to stay with UB then. The UB community. I mean, I have never seen a 12 o'clock January noon game sold out, standing room only, no students, no band. I mean, the community's finally starting to take a little bit of effect. I don't know if it's because of the beer sales, and I hope it's going to Nate Oates' future salary. But shout out to the UB community, honestly, showing up and, like I said, standing room only at home, 17-point favorite against Miami of Ohio. Pretty impressive. When students come back, that place is going to be insane.
That's going to be awesome to see. And it's awesome to see that they really are kind of just dominating now. And you saw the women's team go make that run last year. And you're seeing this men's team getting even better and better. There is a market for college basketball in this town. There's a market for college football in this town. You want to know why? Because Buffalo fans like having a good time.
Yeah.
And if you give them more options, they're going to go. I mean, we see Harbor Center packed for Buttes games all the time for what is a 5-team league. You see that UB is making their name now. People are going. Because all Buffalo wants is something successful. That's it. That's all we want here in this city is something successful. And when the Bills don't do it and the Sabres don't do it, that's going to be a little more depressing. And it, I think, on the whole, was part of the problem. Is how bad the Bills generally were and how bad the Sabres generally were. UB is peaking at a right time where the Sabres and Bills are kind of back on that upswing. So the good vibes get to spread everywhere else. So it's not necessarily that it's like, oh, hey, when these teams are bad, people can find other things to do. No, it's the general feel of the city and the 2 professional teams, the 2 big guns. There's better feels there. The better feelings there are spreading to everything else, and UB has picked the greatest time to start on this rather impressive upswing.
Are you shouting out this particular moment in time? Where
Yes.
UB has chosen it?
I am shouting out all of it.
Shout out this time period for UB. Well done. You know, you gotta shout out Mark Allnut and Satish. No doubt.
I gotta give a shout out to the whole Buffalo Sabres because, as Derek has said,
Al's pissed about that shout out.
Really?
Al is pissed about that shout out.
Was I pissed? I put
You
my
were
arms
pissed.
down.
You were pissed. I saw it on your
I mean,
face.
they've lost both since Cycles been
See,
back.
there it is.
No, we're not doing this.
no. But despite what they've been going through recently, they are, as Derek has said, bringing life back to this city.
They were butt last year.
They
Very
were
fair.
extreme butt last year.
2 quick points before we sign up. Because I said, no.
They've won 6 out of 20 games.
No, 2 quick points.
Give them a shout out 20 games
They got
ago.
KeyBank Center back. They got KeyBank Center back.
It's
Back
back.
in action.
True.
Back in action.
It is back.
With that streak, if they had done, 20-10 over 30 games, they wouldn't have gotten KeyBank Center as back as they got with a 10-game winning streak.
That's true.
Dude, they've already got
And
more
second,
wins than they did at home last year.
It's what our hockey insider Tristan says. If you had told them before the year, they'd be a point out of 3 playoff spots right now.
No,
We
you're
would
right,
have taken
you're right,
that.
you're
So
right,
it's
you're
really
right.
the way they got
You're
it.
right.
Yeah, but it's fair. Shout out to the Sabres. Also, shout out to all the mothers out there. You guys are tremendous.
Mother's Day countdown.
Mother's
5
Day
months?
countdown.
5 months.
4.5.
No, 5.
Isn't it end of May?
Middle of May.
Middle of
4 months.
4
months.
Countdown. Mother's Day countdown.
But DJ Supreme.
Shout out to DJ Supreme, another expert performance, and also shout out to our guests, Frank and what's your name? Derek. I wouldn't do that.
Oh
Come on
my
now.
God.
Come on now.
Derek, Frank, thank you again very much. Bullet point 716. The best UB coverage out
also-
there, hands down.
Bullet Point 716, by far the best UB coverage out there, regardless of what Channel 4 is trying to do. Sorry, Josh. With that said,
no,
with that said,
no,
with
don't
that
do my
said,
boy Josh like
I
that.
did a triple with that said. You have to check out Crossing Swords podcast and the Trainwreck Sports page. Do you like going to Sabres games for free? Because right now, if you just retweet a post from the Trainwreck Sports Twitter page or go on their Instagram, you have a chance to be entered to go to two free tickets for the February 1st game against Chicago. I mean, do you guys like free tickets?
I love free tickets.
It's kind of the best thing.
Yeah,
Free tickets.
The best things in life are free.
Good night now.
Check out the Leftovers podcast too.
Leftovers!